Hey, I'm Scotty, and in this tutorial we're going to be sketching this really interesting Japanese shop front using ink and watercolor. So we'll be going through where we start, because it's very complex, and how do we sketch all these little details in ink. And also, how do we simplify the watercolor wash? That's a really nice challenge for us. So the first thing we need to do is make sure this sketch fits on the page. So the way I do that is with dots. So I'm going to start from the bottom with this sketch, the bottom, because the top is quite complex. The bottom right corner of the building on this side, and then we'll look at that and make a bit of a guess on this side and make sure it's the same height. Now I'm slightly changing some of the proportions just subtly. So we'll put a dot in the middle here, just between the two dots. And on this side, let's put a dot here, and that is halfway. We've got 4 dots here. Look at that distance there. So I'm going to hold my pen just about that same distance up, and then just slightly up a little bit more. And that's going to be the height of our building there. And then we can get that, I'm just measuring with my fingers across here, it's about there. So now I've got that same height. So we're connecting this dot to here. So let's do that. And now I've got that line here. If you're going off a little bit, just do a wiggle like this and get back on track. See how much character that has compared to a straight line? Join these dots here. So go down here, that, and then this side. Now we're going to join these 2 dots up. So we're ignoring some of that sign in the foreground there. And we'll go right across here, ignoring that cabinet. We just got to get the proportions right. Just adding some random things in there. Now we're doing the entry. So here, if you need it, you can put a mark up there, same, and come down. Okay, now we do the same thing on this side. Mark up there and then come down. So now that's the entry point there, and we can just go in. So go up a little bit, you're just doing that by eye, and then we can come across there like this. Leave a little gap, and then this way. Okay, we've got some details there. It's just loose, we can go around where those little chairs are. Now you should have 3 sections. So we can exaggerate some of the size of these shapes if you like. It makes it a really nice dramatic silhouette. So we go across here, a distance. That's that overhang there. However much you think would look good and have a nice silhouette. Once they look about the same, link them up. Okay. So now we'll draw that big rectangle across here. We'll go up about that much. Let's just draw across again. Okay, got a loose line again. If it starts going too high, just do a little wiggle and come back down. And you can add in some random like that. So it was a bit low, so I went back and added that in for interest. And now we can join those up. Just add that interest, so I might add that there. Might look better than it going in like this. Okay, the next thing is this gutter on the front of the roof. So that comes out a little bit more. So come out like this, little step. Perhaps we can add a thin line like this. We're just following that other line. Try your best. Okay, let the ink come out onto the page and enjoy each line. That's what I try and do. Myself. Just enjoy the line, don't rush. Enjoy seeing the ink run onto the paper. So we grab this height here, and then we go up from this point up that same height. You can see there's lots going on there, so this kind of loose style helps get some of that detail in without drawing it properly. Okay, and so we want to connect these 2 points here. So, and we notice it's got tiles, so we can give it that tile look by stepping the line up. And here, start there, and just adding little steps for the tiles. So you can see here on the sign that that corner comes to this point here. So we can add a little line there. And now instead of trying to measure that, we look at this distance and just bring it over. And that's what that observational sketching is. It's just to simplify it, we're going to make this sign here the same height as this. So grab that height between the bottom of the roof and the top and go up and put a dot there, and above, and an angle there. So bring the dot out a little bit on each side. You can even use the top of the page to give you a little bit of a guide here to get it parallel and straight. And now we want to link back to those dots. So we've got a nice angle on there. Bring it across a little bit and then this way. Okay, then we've got a huge sign on top of the bottom here. It's a little bit of wood there, I think. Now we're going to add this. What is that, like a lamp or a light? So we can see here it goes between these 2 points. We go across about halfway, and that is the top of that section of the light, the lamp. About there somewhere. And then we want to go in between that. So on the corner here, let's just draw a rectangle. Now this is very loose. This doesn't matter too much if you get it wrong really, because people won't know. It's just by observation. So let's build a little platform there. And then on the top, we're not drawing the knobby thing on top first, we're drawing that big section. And it wants to be wider, so come here. It wants to be a bit wider than the base. And then come down, follow that curve, and draw that top shape, hat shape. And then there's a little bit of a line angling this way. And then when we get to this section, box in the middle where the lamp is, so we'll angle that and then add a little border. We didn't need to do all the details here, but I've just done a point on the top. And now we can add that roof section here. It's got a nice dark bit there. Looking at halfway of that sign and then going up. So it's about actually 3/4 up. Put a dot there and a dot there. Have a little look. And then come right across. So angle it down. So there's the end there. We want it to come to about here. So about there and come across. Same sort of thing, we step it down. Still looking at that just to make the line interesting there. And then the same this way, aiming at that dot there. You can kind of step down by going down and then back up a little bit. Okay, and then come in a bit on each side, in like that, and then come down at a bit of an angle. We're exaggerating that. And then we can add that thickness. In one line, go back and forth. There's a little circle there for structure. Same on this side, go follow this thickness, but come back up. And down here there's a circle. Go up here, and for looseness we're just doing that in one line. Now before I get sucked into doing details, which is really easy, we're going to add some lines here just to add interest. Let the eye go into the center, draws the eye in. And on this side, just some details, but I'm aiming towards that dot in general. So that'll help a little bit, just center the sketch. So it's a nice rectangle here, and it goes at a slight angle, just drawing the outside of the shape. So Momo the cat, so she goes from about there to here. So we draw the two little ears. So we've got the head, and then on this side, so that's that chest area. So you've got that round shape there. And then we've got the legs. So the legs come straight at that angle, and it has a little paw, and so draw the tail, and then it comes down into the nose there. So there's Momo. Now we've got those objects in the foreground. Now we can draw the stairs. So we'll just draw a line going across, goes all the way to there. Nice ramp here like this. Follow that line again, make some interest. And oops, I put it on too far there. Okay, now it's really coming together. We can see the shop. We can now think about some of the details and go through each section. So let's start off on the left here. I'll put the bigger shape first, but leave a little bit of room for that sign there. So I should bring that across. See, I made a mistake there, so I just wiggled back up and then up like this, and then add thickness to the frame. Okay, embrace mistakes, as I always say. If you make a mistake there, just go back over it and use it as your looseness of your sketch. It's a nice paddle here. This writing here is black, so I could use the pen to do it. Now we're not copying the letters exactly, we're just giving an impression, so people will just glance at it and know it's Japanese. I'm just going over the lines to make it something like that. And the details behind this frame, so that's why I did it first. I can make a line across there for that blue section. And it's up to you how much detail you do here. It depends how big you've done your sketches. So I want to do these details. Now let's move to the door. Add a railing across the top like this. And now we want 3 of those signs. So let's draw them here. So 1. Make sure you can fit the 3 squares there. 2. And because they're linen, you could make them have a bit of a bend. And then we add these top little loops. And we'll go up from here, that point there. Now we can go, we know where that goes. It goes behind that sign there. And we'll also, from the side here, go about 2/3 across and add the edge of that sliding door. Okay, and it's also got a nice screen here. So let's add some straight lines. And then we go up, and the seats here. We'll draw this line down here like this. Now let's draw this little roof on top of this. Okay, draw that. I can make it a bit wider, so a bit of more of an angle so you can see it. And then down, and then another dot there. Now join them up. 1, and then down this way, and across that. And then let's add those slats on the bottom. 2 lines. 2 lines. Now how much of food are we going to fit in here? I think it's going to be very impressionistic at this scale. A few ovals with stuff on the plate. we've got some lights. So I'm going to add a light here and bring it down a bit so you can see it a bit more, like that. And on this side we've also got a light. But yeah, we're changing the sketch just so you can see things a bit easier. And then with the floor, let's add some horizontal lines here, and that's going to be where the tiles are. The vanishing point would be somewhere right in the middle of this building because it's in 1 point perspective. So with these sections here, we can use that and come down and make sure all these lines in the middle are straight. But then as they go out, let's fan them out. It's a slight angle and a lot of angle. On this sign, let's add a bit of writing here. I can't see the exposure of the camera, so I'm just making up some inches. Now let's move on to some of the detail on the top. This is a very detailed sketch. We're adding a small border around the outside of this, and then we're adding little dividing lines, and then the tiles. Okay, little circles on the end. Let's draw those. So these are the end points on the tiles. And now I'm just going to add a wavy line over this. This is my impression of the tiles. You can try something different if you like. So what we can do is draw a dot, come across to where you think the next letter is, and there. So we should have 3 dots. Okay, so we'll draw this top shapes. Now I'm not sure how easy this will be for everyone, and if you struggle with this, that's okay. That's very tricky. Okay, so get this shape like this. Okay, there you go. I'm just looking back and seeing if there's anything. I'm happy with the shape, the feeling of this sketch, and the contrast between this very detailed roof and then this more white clear space there. Okay, I've got my round 12 brush, Viridian green and turquoise, and we're going to block in the shapes here with some light watercolor. Nice simple block shape. Okay, we won't forget a bit up here. I'm imagining the light is coming a little bit more from this left side, and then we're just adding a little bit here across here like this. Follow that sort of direction going towards the door there. Hand here to protect the sketch, and we tap the brush. Okay, we're just going to use cadmium red. I'm going to try and make a bit of a variegated wash here, this section here. So a little bit of red, like this, going right across. A bit of yellow ochre. Let's see if this works. Interesting, and have an impression of what's going on there. The yellow ochre. So we're going to do the cupboard here. So the side of the cupboard, perhaps like all around. So we're using burnt umber and then adding a bit of Payne's grey, because see how dull and dark that colour is. Around those little lights, we like those, and around the lettering. As we come across, you could even add a bit more Payne's grey, a variation across the sign. We can use that same colour down below here where the entrance is. Let's just go this whole section behind here. Let's just do this whole section here and add the Payne's grey in, and I'm adding a bit of ultramarine as well. So let's outline this and this there. Ultramarine, a nice blue. We can get into this sign, so make that yellow ochre. This layer here, and of course the cat. So Momo needs a bit of orange. So I've got burnt sienna and then a tail. And this, see, there's a bit of orange up on this part of the cabinet. Let's add a line here. Okay, I've got my round 12 again because we are going to do shadows, and you need a lot of water for that. And this is how I do shadows, with ultramarine and rose mostly, sometimes purple lake. So we're going to start at the top here. There's a bit of shadow in there. So nice shadow just right across, even if you go outside the lines. A bit more shadow where that roof comes down. There'll be a bit of shadow here, and that whole section shall be in shadow. Shadow in there, and then shadow underneath the cupboard. I'm just adding some blobs and dots. And now we've got cadmium red. There's little separate little marks, and then they come down and across. So we come across to the food then. And let's add some really bright reds. Let's just add a border. So Viridian green, I guess it's cabbage. And in terms of texture, you can try little lines like this. I would never do it with my pen. But another layer. I'll cover up that bottom section and a little bit there. Okay, now we're going to add some highlights with my Posca pen. It's a PC 1M. The white pen's great for texture down here. A few little lines there, little glints. So there you go. What do you think of that sketch and the process we went through to get here? Really love to hear from you in the comments. As always, the full version with the template and the reference will be up on my Patreon page, where you can also become part of the community there. Such a warm and friendly community where we share our sketches and show each other what we've been up to. And I really appreciate all of you who are part of that, voting on the polls each week to choose references like this. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.